In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Listen to your buddy Warhorse. Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that kind of goes live like an hour or half an hour late because, I don't know, the host had to do a bitch session to his friends before going on about things not wrestling related. I am your host and said bitch sessioner, Detective Mark Smarks, and I'm joined as always by bitch sessionees. District Attorney Vincent K. Fabe, what's going on, man? How are you?
Always bitching.
Bitch.
I had to really think to have my head turned the right direction there to see that. I was like, wait,
I appreciate the thought process. I think it's going to be this way. Also joining us from up north, RCMP with a baby face.
What
Baby
the?
LB.
Yeah.
Your face is naked.
My face is naked, very naked. I know. I always regret it after I do
Tell the
it.
girlfriend to quit squeezing her thighs so tight it pulls the hairs out.
I wish that was the issue. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I have. I actually watched GCW's pay-per-view today. So the pay-per-view that was tonight.
Back.
Yes.
It was not. He didn't make us drink. From what I know.
Oh,
this
fair
guy.
enough.
This guy here who rated us with his one viewer. I don't know if that's low for him, but I appreciate every viewer we get. So,
Absolutely.
Yes. So, an interesting week in professional wrestling. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Oh, now he tuned in for a hydrate-ish. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3 from Big JC. I think it's 3. Let me check here to be certain.
Oh, I did bring a water. Thank God.
Uno, dos, tres.
How's GC Dubs tonight? Was it good?
Yeah, no, it was pretty fun. I haven't seen Lufisto wrestle in like a hot minute, so that was interesting seeing her there. Yeah, it was. I really wanted to. There was a lot of Montreal wrestlers there from IWS. Obviously, they're still doing the whole GCW IWS thing as well. So it was really cool just to see those guys come back. Really, it was almost kind of the same as like a lot of the same wrestlers you saw last week when it was the IWS show here in Montreal. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Good.
So we're starting to go downhill towards WrestleMania. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We got, what is it?
Fucking hugs happening.
2 or 3 weeks?
There's fucking hugs happening.
Yeah, hugs happening. Turns taking place. Some people are happy. Some people are angry. Some people are whatever. Some interesting things happening in AEW. I think this last week's AEW Dynamite had the best starting segment and the best closing segment they've had in a long time. It was a great show in my opinion from beginning to end, whether it showed up on the ratings or not. But the starting segment and the ending segment both were excellent. We will talk about those.
Did you watch that on TV?
Well, that
I was trying, bro. Come on.
You were trying. I'll give you credit for crying.
I heard I'll give you credit for crying, not trying on that one.
Well, he's gonna cry if I didn't give him credit. So
There, thank you. That's right.
but the Taya Valkyrie thing, we'll talk more about it in the AEW. But I didn't want to say I actually really appreciated how he did the segment because you know, it's all Jade Cargill's gonna fight against one of Canada's best, and all week long it was like, is it going to be Taya Valkyrie? Is it going to be, you know, or is it going to be someone else or whatever? And then she came out and she had a squash match against a wrestler. I don't even remember the wrestler's name. I can look it up here in like 1 second.
It's one of those long seconds. It's kind of like a country mile.
Nicole Matthews. And I'm sure, looks like she wrestles for Shimmer. I'm sure she's a great wrestler in the end. But when I saw her in the ring, I was like, yeah, there's no way she's lasting very long at all. And she didn't, right? And then, of course, Jade Cargill grabbed the microphone and talked smack about Canada.
Right.
And that's when Taya Valkyrie's music hit. And I appreciated them not just strutting Taya Valkyrie out to have a quick match against Taya Valkyrie, that they're building, obviously it's going to be a feud over the course of a few weeks for it before the match actually happens. I am of the mindset that I still believe that a returning Chris Statlander should be the one who beats Jade Cargill.
Okay.
And so I
you
don't.
have Statlander getting the win instead of Taya Valkyrie in this feud.
That's my thought process. Yes.
Fair enough.
I believe
And is
that
Statlander set to debut?
she should be coming back here soon. But no word specifically on when she's cleared, which is why I think this will be a 3-month feud or so between Taya and Jade Cargill, leading up to a match, possibly at All Out, possibly even taking it longer and going all the way to Double or Nothing. Either way, that's what I think. This is the feud. This is the filler feud to allow time for Statlander to come back. Because in terms of like overness with the crowd and popularity, and then just the way they booked her prior to her injury, I think the long-term goal is still Statlander to be the one to win. And that's what I still believe. But Taya Valkyrie can put on a great performance over the course of the time and be the interim feud up until that happens. She also can fall in an interesting place in the Outcasts versus AEW Originals women's feud going on right now, because she does have ties to WWE, but she doesn't have ties in a real positive sense to WWE. You know what I mean?
Correct, but neither did Ruby.
But neither did Ruby.
That's true.
But Ruby's ties were at least long enough. Ruby was with WWE for a good solid 5 years.
Yes. Yeah.
And Taya was there for
the other two have huge ties, having been title winners.
And so, but it all comes down to, because the storyline the Outcasts are telling are, we came here from the other people, and we were cheered in our debuts, and then the crowd turned against us and didn't care anymore. So, how does the crowd respond to Taya Valkyrie, I think will play into where she ends up falling in this feud. But it is.
Do you want a face turn for Jade? I would say no, you don't.
I don't want a face turn for Jade. I agree.
I just want her to lose the belt, though. Jesus
but
Christ.
that's the deal. Is so if the crowd doesn't get behind Taya Valkyrie, and she then loses this feud, which I expect her to, then afterwards you can have her come out and basically be the same thing that Ruby was this last week, where she said, "Listen, I came in and I was cheered when I first came in, and then the crowd turned against me, and you guys don't deserve me, and I join the Outcasts, right? So that she could do that. But if the crowd like takes her in and continues to cheer her, they easily could also put her on the side of the AEW originals because her time in WWE was so short, and she has a long history and Impact and the Indies outside of that. So it's going to be interesting to see where that falls. But
Well, and Jade can also play into that if they so decide at some point. Jade is very, very capable of being I was an outcast here, I was an outcast there. I'm in it for me.
yeah, she
That would
could
work.
be wherever, right? But anyways, but we'll get to talking a little bit more about the AEW stuff when we get to AEW. Let's first talk about, because chronologically speaking, Raw happened first. So let's do WWE first.
Monday Night Raw.
Overall, it was a pretty decent night for
I think
Raw.
they're doing a good job of building right now.
They're building some good things overall. Edge opened up the show, talked about Finn Balor's challenge to him at WrestleMania. Finn Balor came out and said, we all have demons, Edge. You're going to meet mine. And I'm like, okay, great. So we're going to have the demon? I guess that's what they're teasing.
The one that can only lose to broken turnbuckles.
Yeah, the one that is no longer undefeated. But, I guess. Sure. And then he sent Judgment Day down to beat up on Edge. And, of course, then a random Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano came out with Candice LeRae to save Edge, because that's been established.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really messed up though that they just don't know what to do with Loomis. Get Loomis away from Gargano.
No. I think they keep him with Gargano. The problem is they don't know what to do with Gargano.
Well, that too.
Correct. They have him working work rate on NXT and WWE now. Mm-hmm. He's got his Grayson Waller feud, which I'm all in on.
Yeah. Well, because
And
the
I'm
guy
not
can
that in
fucking
on
go.
in WWE.
We don't call him Johnny Wrestling because he can't go. He can fucking go. But he also has a bunch of charisma. And they right now, they're like, oh, well, then we'll have him randomly feud with Judgment Day for no reason, with no build up and lose.
You also saw a lot of his charisma come out with him and Seth Rollins in the Elimination Chamber match. You know what I mean? That was fire. I'm like, give me more of that Gargano. You know what I mean? I know Seth has that Logan Paul thing, whatever, that's fine. But just give Gargano a feud, man, a decent telling feud.
Yes. But so Judgment Day then went against Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano and won.
Right.
Brock Lesnar and Omos had a stare down, handshake, and then a beat up for a bit and pull apart. And the real news that I want to talk about with that is the reports that last week there were reports that Brock Lesnar was talking to people in the back like he was finishing up with the company. And then they were kind of denied or whatever. Right. But this week, the report has come out. Well, this week, the thing is, the report came out. Brock Lesnar literally showed up minutes before his spot, did his spot in his street clothes, didn't even bring a bag, and immediately following this, walked straight back to his limo, went straight back to the airport, flew back home. Wow. He was literally in the arena for less than 15 minutes. Which also sounds to me like someone who's checked out from the company. So
well, it sounds eerily similar to his checkout before when he actually did check out running the company.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Cody Rhodes had a random match against LA Knight where he beat up LA Knight. Yeah. It's kind of crazy to me that LA Knight went from a feature feud against Bray Wyatt to like
Just
random
jobber.
no build match against
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
That's what he was before that, though.
Well, yeah, so that's why it's weird to me. Is like they elevated him, and then we're like, nah.
The whole Bray thing was screwed up. And again, you can point. It's interesting because every time with Bray Wyatt, you can point to the event that occurred that screwed up the storyline, and it's the challenge to Bobby or Brock. I got winner.
Mm-hmm.
That's on this one. It was the Hell in the Cell before that. And for whatever reason, mostly because these stories are intricate, they get thrown this weird booking event that happens, and it ruins the intricacies of the story. And there's no ability to follow it anymore.
There's also
The rumors that Bray wants to leave.
Yeah, the reports that Bray walked out of a house show. But then
Madison
now,
Square Garden one on top.
yeah, but now it's reported that he's dealing with an unspecified medical condition or something like that, which to me still sounds. I said this on previous. This sounds like spin control. This sounds like we can't look like one of our top stars doesn't want to wrestle, so instead we have to tell the entire world that he's got some medical condition.
Right.
When the reports were already out that he was there and then left.
The piece that really intrigues with Bray Wyatt is he doesn't want to wrestle anywhere else. His reports are that he doesn't.
He
want
just
to
said
go
his.
somewhere else.
He said
I'll just not wrestle.
Well, he apparently there was the report of how he gave to AEW. He said this is how much I'd want, and it was astronomical. It was like Undertaker figures. And AEW is like, we're not paying anyone that much, not you, not anyone. So I do want to take a moment to point out to everyone in America that Mountain Dew Thrashed Apple is in stores right now, and it's phenomenal shit.
Hashtag not sponsored.
But I would be. Mountain Dew,
It would also be very wrong of you to not, in the same breath that you mention that one Burger King has Surge available on tap.
Our Burger Kings
Surge
don't, but
Zero.
But it's been a while since I've been in Burger King because my wife doesn't like Burger King. So I'll have to check. But last time I went into a Burger King, it didn't have Surge anymore.
Oh, well, the one in Grand Island does.
Including
Surge Zero.
Grand Island gets all the good shit.
Surge Zero, that's like Mountain Dew Surge Zero? Is that a Mountain Dew
Surge
thing?
is not by Mountain Dew. It's actually
Coke's
a Coke product. But it was Coke's competition to Mountain Dew back in the 90s and early 2000s that was really successful for a while and then was a little bit less successful and then got discontinued. And about, 6 years ago or so, it got brought back and was really successful for a while and then started to be less successful, partially because they didn't sell it in 12 packs. Right?
Oh, really?
You just couldn't get it in 12 packs. But anyways, if Surge wants to sponsor us, I'll fucking do it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mountain Dew wants to sponsor us, I'll do it too. I will Thrashed Apple the hell out of this thing. I will create an entire border to go around our screen that says Mountain Dew Thrashed Apple in stores now. I don't give a fuck if they want to sponsor me.
I'll fucking do it. Don't you challenge him.
Don't
fucking do it.
Fucking threaten me with a good time.
It was also originally banned because a lot of sugar and caffeine, but Surge apparently had less caffeine and even less sugar than Mountain Dew, its primary competitor. Which is why now it's probably back.
Yeah.
We'll see. For the foreseeable future, hopefully.
Anyway.
Yeah, I haven't looked. I'm sure we do have that. I just.
What was interesting is there was Surge, and then that went away, and then for a short period of time, Coke had Vault, which tasted a lot like Surge. I'm not saying they just took the Surge formula and tweaked it a bit and renamed it. but I'm not saying that. Anyways, after Cody Rhodes defeated LA Knight, Paul Heyman said Rhodes will be forced to acknowledge Roman Reigns next week. So Reigns will be on Raw. So tomorrow night, Reigns will be at Raw to acknowledge Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. As he should.
Problems on the horizon.
Yeah, he won't be just have to acknowledging Cody Rhodes. He'll have to acknowledge the friendship of Sammy and KO again. Yay. Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll come up on when we get to talking about SmackDown, because it did not happen on Raw. That's for certain.
Right.
Bronson Reed came out and squashed Elias.
I don't know why, but Bronson Reed just doesn't work in the main roster. I am sorry. And not that Elias is not doing anything better either, but fuck.
It just blows my mind that they took someone who was as over as Elias was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And fucked it up.
And fucking squandered him so much. And now start jobbing him out to Bronson Reed, who, again, I'm not a Bronson Reed fan. I see his talent. I understand his talent. Guy just does nothing for me. Right?
Yeah, his gimmick is just so generic and lame. I think that's what it is. It's
it's kind of his gimmick is just like he's a big guy. But also I'm gonna be honest with you. I absolutely fucking hate the way he does his finishing move, the tsunami. And it comes down to this. He doesn't actually get all the way up on the top turnbuckle. He climbs up to the second rope. He puts his foot on the top rope and pushes off with 1 foot off the top rope to do the tsunami. So he is never standing on the top rope.
Right.
He just pushes off of it to do it. And fucking, I've seen 1,000 people do a top rope splash. Big men even, like Keith Lee. Fucking, I'm pretty sure Earthquake did a top rope splash, and it was fine. But yeah, here I agree with you, Necro. Bronson isn't even an impressive big man either.
Nope, that's fair.
He's generic. He doesn't do anything that really impresses me. I mean, they had him beat fucking Okada
which is still crazy to me, to the fact that they actually believed in Bronson Reed enough to make him that huge monster. I don't know. And
then didn't give him a contract.
Right. That's also, that's their bad. That's their fault. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see, I don't see the entertainment factor in Bronson Reed at all. He's a generic big dude who's not even good at being a big dude. Yes. So.
Anyway,
he should not beat Elias, although Elias isn't doing much.
Like I said, I don't know how they pissed down their leg with Elias so much.
I don't know how
so fucking over.
How Zeke had a better winning percentage than Elias.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Elias can cut a promo in a song, which we've seen a couple guys be able to do, and that's it. And Elias does it very well. Granted, it's blues, but it's still a song.
Right.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, Necro says, New Japan had been scouting Bronson Reed for years and years, then they let him walk to WWE instead of locking him up if they liked him so much. Exactly, right? I don't get it. Right? What was your pitch?
So excited they didn't think Bronson was going to go back to WWE.
Hey, we like you so much, we're going to let you beat Okada, but we're not going to offer you a contract before we do that. Right? Fucking, if I'm running New Japan and I have a big guy that I like so much that I'm going to have them beat Okada.
All right.
The bottom line is, if I have anybody that I'm going to have beat Okada, I'm going to try and have a contract.
I'm going to have them locked down to at least a year. You know what I mean? At least a contract that gives me a year with them so they can beat Okada. And then when it's coming close to the end of your contract, if you aren't staying around, if you don't look like you're going to stay, then I can have Okada get his win back. and fucking lock him up for something. But no, it's like, well, if you beat Okada, we're not going to give you a contract. That didn't burn us with fucking Carl Anderson at all.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, Austin Theory defeated Angelo Dawkins. Fucking, I hate them jobbing Dawkins out. I know they're building a storyline for Austin Theory, and of course he put the STF on afterwards, so it's taunting John Cena for that. And I know WWE thinks Montez Ford is the star out of the Street Profits, and he is definitely the more charismatic of the two, right? But I hate how
Dawkins has been working really well, though. Like, he changed up his physique to a point. I think he slimmed down and all that, and he looks good. But
and then they job him out to Austin Theory.
Well, I mean, I think if it was anybody else, aside from telling the story for Austin Theory, because they did make fun of him backstage. Oh, you look like a fool. John Cena made you look like a fool. Yada yada yada, and all that. So you're gonna have to continue that storyline. But I don't know. Theory did bring up a good point though. What are Street Profits gonna do for Mania? I mean, they might not even be on the show unless maybe the pre-show.
They might not. But here's the deal: is remember the whole promo backstage was Austin Theory coming at the Street Profits and basically flat out saying, "We know Tez is the star here," and Angelo was like, "Nah, man, I got this, fam," and he took this and then lost, right? Which to me tells the storyline of Tez really is the star.
Yeah, but that's true. That's unfair.
I fucking hate it because I just know.
Or had like a Cena clip. Have like a Cena clip that would have distracted Theory and then make Dawkins get the win. You know what I mean? And it still tells the same story.
Or fucking, I don't know. Or just not have it happen. Let Dawkins and Tez have a different match. Because here's the deal. I just know what's going to happen. They're going to tell the storyline now of Dawkins being jealous of Tez's success in singles. And then they're going to break up the Street Profits because heaven forbid we have a tag team that also can wrestle singles matches. Right? Heaven forbid we let that happen.
Well, right? I mean, the New Day does it.
We think Montez Ford can make a run towards the U.S. title. So we got to break up the Street Profits so that we can fuck that, man. Right? Do you know how often in the 90s you would have someone who was tag team champion and then U.S. champion in WCW, or tag team champion and then intercontinental champion in WWF? Right? It happened all the fucking time.
Ready? 2-man power trip.
Yep. Happened all the fucking time.
That was a 6-month storyline, and it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. But now they're all like, nope. You're either a tag team or you're a singles wrestler. If you're a tag team, you could wrestle singles matches, but you can't go after the gold unless we break up the tag team. Speaking of the New Day, Kofi's out for an undisclosed amount of time for an injury. So the New Day is now just Xavier Woods.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a Xavier Woods. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Then you had Rey Mysterio come out to talk about how he is the first announced inductee into the Hall of Fame this year. And of course, Dominic came out and gave him a bunch of crap and challenged him to a match at WrestleMania. And Rey said, "I told you before, son, I'm never going to fight my own son."
If you were some other punk kid.
And so I can already see where the storyline goes.
He's going to do something at the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, Dom's going to do something at the Hall of Fame, 100%. They're going to kayfabe that. But, no, the storyline's going to go that Dom says, "It's okay, you weren't my real father anyways." And then Rey can be like, "Well, fine. If you don't think I'm your father, then I can wrestle you because you're not my son anymore."
I don't think they'll do that. I mean, they're going to do the match. I just don't think it's going to be in the way that you're saying.
I don't know if I've ever been so excited for Vicky Guerrero to come back.
I am down for. I mean, if Vicky's in the picture, though, that would make complete sense.
Yeah.
And then she has the papers and everything. Like,
in fact,
wild.
here's how it goes down. Here's how it goes down.
And she's not my real mom. Vicky's my real mom.
Ray is accepting his spot in the Hall of Fame, and he's giving this heartfelt speech. And
excuse
me. And Vicky Guerrero comes walking down with Dominic.
Oh my god.
Did we just have three people all 100% of Raw and Order is excited for Vicky Guerrero and the Dominic and Ray storyline?
I don't know if
that we hated.
I don't know if I would 100% say I'm excited for it, but
you're excited for it. Stop it.
It's better than anything else they've done with fucking Ray recently.
That's fair. But
I will give WWE a ton of credit for their TikToks and social media of Dominic doing his prison workout, where he's dressed like a cholo and lifting the super heavy 5-pound weights.
And then Sheamus and McIntyre go see him, look at him.
Apparently, they really do work out together because there's been times where Dom's just been irritating as fuck to Sheamus. Like, what's your favorite cheat day thing was the one question he asked to Sheamus. And Sheamus was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's just exhausted from his workout. Exhausted. And he's like, no, what's your favorite cheat day thing? And Sheamus says, I don't know. Cadbury chocolate. And he just starts mispronouncing Cadbury over and over and over again. And just, I knew I fucking hated you for a reason.
Anyways, Seth Rollins defeated Baron Corbin, and then Miz came out to fucking
Miz things up.
Mm-hmm.
Does Miz have a match yet? He doesn't, does he?
Miz is the host.
No, he's the host of WrestleMania.
That's right.
So he's not going to be officially in a match. He's just going to be out there in between every other match or so.
Which, if he brings Maurice with her low-cut tops, that's fine.
She'll definitely be there. I don't.
Well, speaking of people with low-cut tops, Chelsea Green wrestled against Bianca Belair. And outside Carmella was ringside.
Yeah, because they're together now, kind of thing.
Because they've teamed.
They
them
both
up.
paid Adam Pearce.
You know what? It kind of works.
It does.
Well, it's a crappy version of the Iconics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not it's a poorly done version of the Iconics.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But it's Chelsea Green, and so I'll watch it.
She really does the Karen character tremendously well. I just don't know where else they can go with it.
I love how apparently Chelsea Green, she's originally Canadian, but she's got a green card issue right now going on, and that's why when they were in Ontario, Ottawa, she couldn't go to the show, so that's why they had that whole gimmick where she instead traveled to Ottawa in Ohio, I want to say it was, this little tiny town. And then she was angry at Adam Pearce because he sent her to the wrong Ottawa. That's because she couldn't go to Canada because with her green card issue. If she had gone to Canada, she probably couldn't have made it back to the States is what it came down to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
yeah, because she's from Canada, so she would be fine going in.
She's fine going in,
back to the
but
States.
her green card with the States, because there's an issue with it. If she traveled there, she can't come back until she clears up the issue, and they didn't think she
easier to clear the issue here in the States.
Yeah, for sure.
Or when she has a little bit more time to do stuff instead of a week program. Anyways, but Bianca Belair won with the KOD, and then Asuka came out. and saved Bianca Belair when Carmella tried to help double team her.
Which that doesn't make sense. We went heel Asuka.
They're doing wild card Asuka, which isn't heel Asuka, but it's at least not comedy Asuka, so I'm kind of fine with it. Because they're doing this wild card where she came out, she helped save Belair, and then she wouldn't give Bianca back her title. Right. She danced around with the title, and then finally gave the title belt back, but opened her mouth and was just dripping with the blue mist out of her mouth, and she laughed maniacally. Maniacally. I couldn't come up with the word. So that was Raw.
NXT is worth talking about now.
Is it? Well, let's talk about it. Because I didn't watch it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, so Gargano was attacked by Grayson Waller. They're going to have a match at the NXT show for WrestleMania weekend. Stand and Deliver, I think is what it is. Anyway, they have a match coming up. You also have Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough at the pay-per-view or at the Premium Live event. So, and you get Carmelo Hayes, and Carmelo Hayes is challenging for the title. Mm-hmm. Braun Breaker. So, yeah. We are building. We had a fantastic promo on NXT where Pretty Deadly was hosting the contract signing between Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, and our dreams were all granted. There wasn't a battle. Mm-hmm. Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker just shook hands and did their thing.
Did a little pose off.
And, yeah, not even really a pose off. They were just like, yeah, we're gonna. This has been a match years in the making, 18 months in the making. Like we got to do this. Like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, this is great. I'm glad you're going to be on my best challenge to date. I'm glad this is an opportunity I've been working really hard for. And it was just very cordial. And Pretty Deadly was like, no, that's not how this is supposed to happen. It's supposed to end in chaos, and people are supposed to attack people. Come on, add drama. There needs to be drama. Add drama. And so they both attacked Pretty Deadly, which was really entertaining. So I feel as though we're getting back to black and gold, though we're not obviously black and gold. We've got the women's tournament right now.
That's at least worth talking about because Roxanne Perez, who defended the championship last week, won. Then after the match collapsed in a Shawn Michaels-esque
sort of way.
It was announced during the week that she's dealing with an undisclosed medical issue.
Oh, another one.
Yeah. And this is reportedly a real undisclosed medical issue.
Her blood pressure was really low.
And so she is going to be relinquishing the title, and they're doing a tournament to set up for the match I'm assuming at the pay-per-view, Premium Live event, to crown the new
women's champion.
So
we had a win by Zoe Stark and a win by Gigi Dolan in that tournament, which was kind of cool. Zoe Starks beat Sol Ruka, which makes me sad, but Sol Ruka's green, so
yeah. I mean, anytime Zoe.
So she's still not. Toxic Attraction aren't fighting each other anymore, or that's done already.
It kind of culminated in the last one. They're still tormenting each other.
Yeah, it's here's the deal.
I don't feel like Gigi's going to be in the championship. I feel like she's going to have a feud.
Yeah, what's likely going to happen is in one of the next matches before the championship, JC Jane is going to somehow or another cost her the match, I would bet. leading to a final.
In reality, we probably have Cora Jade or Zoe Stark versus. I can't think of who they'll use as the face female, but and Zoe Stark could technically be considered a face. She's just not really all that face.
Let's see, because I don't know who all's in the tournament.
But I don't. I think Cora Jade sells a ton, so I don't see them not having her be in it.
I don't know if Blair Davenport's in the tournament. She definitely could easily be in it. They could potentially take a chance, pun intended, on Katana Chance.
Boy.
But I do think they still believe her, feel she's more of a tag team specialist sort of a thing. They could potentially throw Wendy Chu into the mix, and she would be definitely a faced potential. Elektra Lopez could potentially be in it. I don't know who all's in it. If they've even announced who all's in it.
I don't know if they've announced who all's in it.
In fact, to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if they've announced how many rounds it's going to be.
What's a lot?
No, that's so it could be 6
Isla
or
Dawn
4.
and Alba Fire. Oh, Niall and Paxley versus Dawn and Fire versus Chance and Carter. That's the tag qualifier. Wesley Dabakato, in my opinion, is crap, but every time Dabakato's out there, I think it's crap, so I'm not a huge fan.
They should have just left him Babatunga and then left him as a football player. Yeah.
Ladder match qualifiers.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, Dakota Lyons is out with an injury, so it's not going to be her.
So Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, there's going to be one more, so whoever the next week's match is.
Indy Hartwell, they could throw her in as a face.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Well, and with having, so Gigi is in it. Gigi can be taken out by JC Jane.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could have Cora Jade and Zoe Stark. And Zoe Stark could maybe transition a little bit to being the good guy.
Yeah.
And Wendy Chu's going to face Lyra Valkyria. I botched that name so badly.
But it looks like they're only having 3 in that ladder match. For standard
3. Okay.
I mean, in fairness, they had to change Valkyria's name to Lyra Valkyria because she was wrestling under her real name, which is Irish. And I gotta be honest, I have to look up to see how it's pronounced because.
So you're saying it's a tongue twister?
It has one consonant in the entire. It's Gaelic, which means beautiful and radiant. And how do we pronounce it?
It's Aof Cusack.
That's not how it's pronounced. Give me a second. It's pronounced Aoife.
Aoife.
I had to look it up. Aoife. But it's spelled Aoife. So, Dumb American me would pronounce it Aoifa.
Right.
And that's why WWE is like, most of our fans are dumb Americans. They'll not know how to pronounce Aoife. So let's change it to Lyra. They'll be able to figure that out. Little do they know that some of their fans pronounce it Cody Rose.
Kevin Owens also did last week too, by the way. Just saying. It might be a Canadian thing.
Must be. Better apologize for it. Anyways, Necro Eric, we put it up there. Wrestling Open 62, which is every Thursday, had an incredible match with Ryan Gosling and Desmond Cole with a super hot angle. Tyreek Taylor returned and turned on Desmond Cole with the Church of Greatness, incredibly hot angle, 2 amazing first-round matches in the title tourney. Wrestling Open is the greatest weekly wrestling show out there. I am quite certain you think so. And I am happy you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm also quite certain that every single wrestler you just named is a very good wrestler, but I have not heard of a single one of them. So,
I mean, I've heard of Ryan Gosling, just not that one.
yeah,
Just not that one.
I somehow or another doubt it. And this is not knocking on it.
Saying that you're a mark for storylines.
I am an absolute mark for storylines. And even more than that, like, there's a certain type. I've said before why that AEW reminds me of mid-90s era WCW. And I've yet to see anything else that reminds me anything close to it. And even current AEW, as bad as Necro believes it to be, reminds me of the good times in WCW. So,
yeah. It's all subjective, anyways. So
it's all subjective.
But yeah,
I said before, I am 100% happy Necro likes it. I'm happy anyone who watches it likes it, because that's all I want, is for wrestling to continue and be liked. And
all I can say is, if there's a minor league, then there can be a major league. So I will always support the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and there's going to be people who buy the tickets to the minor leagues.
Yeah, here's the deal: is I can tell you, if I go to downtown Omaha and throw a rock, I'll probably hit someone who swears by Omaha Storm Chasers baseball. It's the best baseball you can see. But no one outside of Omaha watches Storm Chasers baseball because it's a minor league. And these people will play and eventually get called up to the major leagues. And they'll play for the Kansas City Royals, or they'll get traded to the whatever team. It shows my age and how much I don't pay attention to baseball. Is there still an Expos team? I don't even know.
No.
When I was a kid,
they're
the Washington Royals now.
Washington Capitals now.
Oh, sorry. They were never the Royals.
The Royals are Kansas City.
Man. Oh, okay. I'm clearly not a baseball guy, but no, we lost it. They went to Washington, but we still get it. They come here for a few games just because of the whole nostalgia from it. But yeah, we don't deserve a baseball team again. It's not. I don't think it's the Senators.
Here,
Washington.
I'm gonna just do the Wikipedia.
I don't think it's the Generals either.
Expositions.
Nationals.
Nationals. Yeah, they just won the World Series recently.
Did they? Oh, there we go.
Shows how much any of us watch baseball.
That's it, straight up.
Let's see. In 2019 they won the World Series.
So also, side note, if you walk anywhere in Nebraska, throw a tube of tennis balls up in the air, all 3 of them come out of that tube, you're going to hit somebody who prefers to watch college football, which is the minor leagues, to NFL. Guaranteed. 3 tennis balls, you throw them up in the air, you're going to find somebody who's going to prefer that.
Even if 2 of them hit cows.
Which is very possible in Nebraska. As the cow population does outnumber the people population.
Yes.
Some 10 to 1.
So yeah, it was 2004 was the last season of the Montreal Expos. So that shows that the last time I paid attention to pro baseball was at least prior to 2004.
It's okay. So anyway, minor leagues do exist and they're wonderful, and there are certainly people who follow said minor leagues.
And even without referring to it as a minor league, it simply comes down to this. I want all wrestling to succeed, right?
Yes.
I even want CZW to get back on its feet and do its stuff. You know what I mean? I want CYN to succeed because you know what? More wrestling is better for everybody, right? And more wrestling options are better for wrestlers, right? This is why I said before, when all the rumors that Tony Khan might be one of the people trying to buy WWE, which again, Tony Khan and his dad could 100% meet the price, but they would have to leverage most of their own, their properties to do it. So more than likely, if they were to do it, they would take on partners and investors to do it. And I don't think they should. I've said it before. As much as I like AEW, one owner owning all of the majors in professional wrestling is bad for the business.
Quite frankly, there may be more money in it for them by not owning it. Because if it's owned by a company or by an entity that is likely to be boycotted, Smarks has already talked about that. We don't have to go into that. Or if it's just, quite frankly, people who go, oh, I don't like the product anymore because it's too clean or whatever it may be. Yeah. If we get a PG era again. People just, there's probably going to be a landing spot for them at AEW.
Let's just put it this way, right? Shortly after WCW folded, you had both Ring of Honor and TNA pop up. And for a period of time, about
they did well.
6 or 7 years or so, they both did fairly well. But then you had the early 2010s, when both of them dropped to lows. And both of them dropped to lows for about the same reason. Neither of them had major TV deals, right? Ring of Honor was now owned by Sinclair and could only be seen on Sinclair stations, usually in the middle of the night, not a regularly scheduled time, because Sinclair station isn't all one network. It's not like they were on Fox, right? Sinclair owns NBC stations and Fox stations and whatever stations. And so they have to deal with the nationwide Fox or NBC or whatever, all of that stuff, and just kind of slot it in wherever they can, right? So it wasn't a regular place you could watch it. It wasn't a regular time you could watch it. It varied based on regionality. Here in Nebraska, where I grew up in central Nebraska, it was on late at night on Channel 13. But here in Omaha, it was on a different channel at a totally different time. And if I were to travel to Chicago or New York or San Francisco, it would be on a different channel at a different time as well. There's no uniformity to it, right? And then TNA got put on Altitude, which is in 1/8 the number of houses that a USA Network's on. If even that. And then it went down to a smaller channel after that. And so they were on these podunk channels that not everyone could see. They fell out of popularity, right? They couldn't really compete. What happened to the WWE product after that? When there was no viable nationwide competition for them? I'm going to answer.
Got not so good.
It got not so good. We had some of the worst times in WWE professional wrestling history. In terms of storyline,
I want to say,
in terms of the matches.
I even stopped watching, I think, for a good 2 to 3 years between like 2010,
So did that.
like
guy.
off and on.
Yeah, I wasn't watching anymore.
He stopped watching way back in 04.
Yeah, I stopped watching not long after.
And then he started working with a guy who was passionate about it.
Well, and I started watching Ring of Honor. I started finding a time I could watch Ring of Honor. And I wasn't able to watch it regularly. But I was able to watch some of
Pro
it.
did save it, but it wasn't readily available.
It wasn't as readily available to a person like me, without like going
What
out
it
of
did
my
was
way.
save the wrestlers as another option.
Mm-hmm. And so, and what it took was, and this is, I mean, we're seeing it in the modern WWE product now. I'm not saying WWE right now is perfect. I'm not even saying it's
better than
great.
it was 2 years ago.
But it's a lot better than it was 2 years ago, and it's a lot better than it was 5 years ago. You know, when we first started this podcast 4 years ago, right? The next year, until the launch of AEW, almost every show
What
was
the
just
fuck are they
talking
doing with
about
this Roman Reigns fucker? Fuck
yeah, how
me.
shitty WWE was at. Almost every show, that was the focus of the show, was Jesus, WWE keeps getting shittier and shittier. And we kept talking about it. Like I mentioned, fuck, I might have to stop watching WWE. But what am I supposed to do? I've got a podcast about it, so I've got to watch it. Then AEW came along, and I really liked early AEW. It vibed with me. NXT was doing good. So we're like, talk about NXT, talk about AEW. But all three of us on this podcast did not like watching WWE.
Dreaded. So there was a sign we used to do in the podcast. We used to do show reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And we dreaded the rotation that included Raw. Because it was 3 hours of just fucking. JLB was like, I'll watch fucking SmackDown, I suppose. Because Smarks was all over AEW and I was all over NXT. Because they were great products. And JLB was like, I can watch SmackDown. I can deal with that. And then all of us were like, oh, fuck.
None of us wanted Raw.
I don't want to do Raw.
Literally
3
every
hours
week was, who's doing Raw this week? I did it last week. Okay.
It was like pulling teeth. It was always like pulling teeth. It was really bad.
And then what would happen? Someone would say, yeah, I'll do it. And then the next day I'd be like, I need the audio. And they're like, well, I didn't watch it. And I'm like, fuck. So I'd have to binge it really quickly to do it. Or some weeks we didn't get one done.
Right,
because none of us wanted to watch it because it was just so bad. But guess what's happened?
Unfair to you.
Well, guess what happened, right? AEW came along, and whether you like the product or not, whether you like it now or not, it forced WWE to step up their game, right? And I'm not saying is overnight. There was still some bad shit. For the first year and a half of AEW, WWE still had some really bad shit. And a lot of it
about the Fiend storylines being fucked up every fucking time they do them.
And in fairness, a lot of it can be put squarely at the feet of a Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I hate that I share a first and middle name with him.
Yeah, you should blame your parents. Anyways, but yeah, it was just like for being so bullheaded about not changing what he was going to do in any way, shape, or form. and then slowly coming around to some of the things, but still being bullheaded about doing the WWE way. And AEW was like, no, we're going to do this stuff. We're going to be fun. And it slowly forced WWE to step their game up. And yes, Vince McMahon leaving creative 8 months ago or however long ago it was has definitely helped. WWE right now is better than it has been in almost 10 years. It's still not perfect. It's still not my favorites to watch, but it's a heck of a lot better than it was.
Absolutely.
And so it's improving. And it's improving because they have something competing with them. And so one ownership of any of them isn't going to help. One ownership is just going to, frankly, if Tony Khan owns all of the professional wrestling in America, all of the major, I'm going to use that phrase, major professional wrestling in America.
It's going to look a lot like Dynamite.
Well, yeah, and more specifically, it's going to probably end up 2010's WWE again, right? What reason would Tony Khan have to push the envelope to continue to put on the best shows possible when he can put on 2010 era WWE and still get the same ratings? You know what I mean? Turn on the coast. So, but on top of it, it's better for wrestlers, right? Right now, say you're a wrestler who's currently wrestling for WWE and you're unhappy with your contract, right? Say your contract is up soon.
A lot were.
Which a fair amount were, yeah. Say your contract is even up soon, right? Right now, you've got the ability to reach out to Tony Khan and be like, hey, my contract is up. My contract is up. What do you have for me? I'll do Ring of Honor. I'll do AEW. Either one's fine. What do you have for me? And then you say, hey, I've got a contract offer from AEW for this much to WWE. Are you going to match it? Are you going to beat it? You could go to Impact and say, hey, AEW thinks I'm worth this much. Do you think I'm worth this much? And you can put feelers out to the indies and do a Matt Cardona, who legitimately makes more money now on the indies than he did in WWE.
Which is a wild
thing to say. Viable statement.
So it is a viable statement, except I've said for years how I wish wrestling fans in general would stop giving a fuck about ratings. Period. Number one, right now they're getting 800,000 on Dynamite. And everyone's like, oh, they're barely breaking 800,000, all this stuff. They're getting 800,000 during prime basketball season. Where
also getting 800,000 live views.
Yeah.
Remember, your DVRs don't count.
Yeah, DVRs don't count. Also, I also want to point out 800,000 views when TBS was expecting, when they signed him, Turner, I should say, when they signed their original contract, they were expecting 500,000 views. That's what their expectations were. And they're getting 300,000 above what the expectations were. Warner has been on record multiple times saying that they are getting way more views than they expected out of Dynamite. In fact, Warner recently said that their measurements are, they feel confident that AEW accounts for almost 4 million additional views to their network every week.
That's
4 million, okay. Right? Now, what that means is to Turner, right, to Warner Media, it's saying they get 800,000 live views on their show, but they also see that continue onto the follow-up show.
Their other programming. Yeah.
Their other programming, right? They also see that go onto the previous show. People are tuning in to the previous show so they don't miss the beginning of Dynamite. That they weren't. People are tuning in and staying after Dynamite to see the show that's after. They're so happy that to Necro's point, they're going to get a third show. The reports have it it's going to be an hour-long show, probably on a Saturday night, probably similar to the old WCW Saturday night sort of a show, right? Not only are they getting a third show in that respect, but they're also getting a fourth show in the terms of this behind-the-scenes show. All access, right? So we can say.
Oh, I thought that's what you were referring to.
No, there is
a
third show. It hasn't been officially announced, but the rumors are out there. And they've even trademarked a name for it.
I thought that was the name they used for All Access or not.
Nope, All Access is the newest show, and that's the one that's going to be after Rampage.
The backstage stuff, and
that's going to be backstage, and then they have AEW Collision is the name they've filed to trademark, and that's probably going to be the show. Okay. And Andrew Zarian from Matmen is reporting that it's probably going to be Saturdays at 6:05 p.m., which is the same time that WCW Saturday Night was on TBS. Right.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that's technically a fourth show, right? Obviously, regardless of what we think about 800,000 viewers, right? We don't live in an era where 5 million people tune in to watch a wrestling show, right? It just doesn't happen anymore. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. WWE could put on the shittiest product they ever do, and they're still going to get 1 million views on Raw. Because there are that many people they're just conditioned over 30 years. Turn on WWE Monday Night Raw. That's what I watch on Monday nights is Monday Night Raw.
Now at 8 instead of 9.
Yeah, I don't care how shitty it is. I'm still going to turn it on, right? And so what we're seeing is 800,000 people who turn on AEW every week, right? Every week. Now, they have peaks up and peaks down, but you do have to always look at what they're against.
Well, and I mean, even like Eric Bischoff makes this point of, well, they're always kind of in the same number. They're not going higher or lower, so therefore they're not necessarily doing good after 3 years. But I'm kind of more like, well, no, that just means they have a consistent. As long as they're not going down from 800K,
so
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean,
so
granted,
last Wednesday they did.
But...
Last Wednesday they did 852,000 viewers. Man, I think that was down less than 1% from the previous week, and it was the third lowest audience total of the year, right? But they were still 11th on cable in the 18 to 49 demo, right? Dynamite is almost always in the top 5 of the cable chart. There has been tough sports competition from the NBA and NCAA tournament play-in games, and I expect that to continue this week because we have March Madness.
Right.
March Madness is always going to take those things out, and everything. But the big thing is, women 18 to 49 was up 6.3%, right? So they're getting more women fans watching. Right? In the end, if you look at it, Dynamite still broke 1 million viewers twice so far this year. And 1, 2, 3, 5 times were within a hair's breadth of 1 million, right? Their 10-week average for the year is over 900,000.
Nice.
Their average...
It's over 9,000! Sorry.
Their average for men... Yes. Their average for men 18 to 49 is a .41, which is fantastic. That's better than WWE gets.
Probably the biggest thing to note is that they are an upstart. Here's the deal.
And they've only been
If
here 4 years.
Survivor had pulled the same numbers in Season 8 as it did in Season 4, Survivor would still be on the air. They introduced
Survivor
a polar
still is on
bear.
there.
No, Lost. Sorry, Lost.
Okay.
My,
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
my mistake.
It's a different
Lost.
program, but it's
Lost. But Lost introduced a polar bear and lost viewers.
Right. I mean, mind you, it was still a pretty big. Still had a lot of. Their viewership was still pretty wild, though. Polar Bear did drop it a bit, but they were still top.
I mean, they
top
went another 4
cable,
seasons after they jumped the shark. Here's the deal: we haven't seen the moment that AEW jumped the shark. We've seen it with WWE. WWE can survive the shark jump. That's one thing that they have. I don't think they do if it's not for the 90s.
Right.
All right. So since we're about to get to Dynamite, I do want to go ahead and
I hadn't finished SmackDown to answer Necro's thing, but go ahead and open your cards.
Yeah, because we're about to do Dynamite.
We hadn't finished SmackDown.
We haven't done Dynamite. Chronologically, Dynamite's next.
I always do WWE first, and then I do AEW, but that's fine.
Well, then go ahead and let's do SmackDown, because these are AEW cards.
That's right. So, Judgment Day defeated Legado del Fantasma. Rey Mysterio confronted Dominic Mysterio. Rey Mysterio confronted Dominic after the match and still said that I want you on my side at the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And if you were anyone but my son, I would whoop you at WrestleMania. They're putting Liv Morgan in a tag team with Raquel Rodriguez versus Emma and Tegan Knox.
Feels like maybe they've kind of signed down on those two a little bit.
Yep.
Unless they're putting the titles on them.
Charlotte and Rhea Ripley brawled. Xavier Woods defeated LA Knight. So twice this week, LA Knight lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. They announced Great Muta for the Hall of Fame.
Yay.
Well, technically,
No
Ric
game.
Flair announced it on Wednesday on the bump. But yes.
Yeah, they officially announced it on SmackDown.
SmackDown. Correct.
But
being a shit disturber.
Rey Mysterio clocked LA Knight backstage after LA Knight called him a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
And then in the final match to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship, who faced Gunther at WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus went to a draw.
What? It's going to be a triple threat?
So it's going to be a triple threat. Like,
So,
why have the match? Just make it a triple threat.
here's the deal. The only time in the last 5 years that there's been big men who've put on 5-star matches was Sheamus and Gunther. So, do we get a better match with Drew in there? Or do we not? I mean, it's obvious that Gunther carries that.
What we really want to see is Gunther versus the Beast Incarnate.
Yeah, we're not going to get that.
I know, but fuck.
That's the right move for WrestleMania. If you don't have Bray, just have Bobby Lashley take out Omos.
No. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've already had something before. They have a past with that. Might as well. And then Brock and Gunther, and I'm pretty sure Brock would appreciate that because
I would prefer old Walter too, but I mean, I don't think he's soft by any means.
Yeah, I'm still not.
I feel like
And
he's
this
the
is
same
someone.
character.
This is someone who was willing to take a frog splash from Colt Cabana. I'm not taking a chop from Walter or Gunther. No sure you, Bob. Nope, I choose life. The big news is Owens and Zayn reunited on SmackDown. Big hug in the middle of the ring. They're back together. They're friends.
Well, Cody set it up
which-
nicely. That was a great
Which-
way to start the show.
Which
And-
means we're not going to get a triple threat for the World Universal Undisputed Championship.
So we're getting the triple
I
threat where we
knew
don't
that.
want a triple threat, and we're not getting the triple threat where we do want a triple threat.
Right.
Oh well.
Although rumors have it that right now Triple H is considering dropping down to just one belt for the title. Considering. Fucking
like
stop
Cody's-
considering. Do it. If you're not going to split them, then there's no reason to have two belts.
Well, and
Yeah.
then you could have a tournament when you do the brand split, when you solidify the brand split again.
Yeah, but he's saying he still would want it to have one belt anyways.
Yeah, right now the rumors have it that just having one champion. Between
I
the
think
two
you have
of
too much of
But
a
here's
big
the-
roster to have just one title, though, to be honest with you.
them. Gonna
I
have
love
it be one
Roman, but
title and with Roman going to part-time, that's not. So it needs to be on someone else, and that person needs to go between both shows and defend it, and whatever. But here's the deal. Again, just fucking do it. If you're not going to split the titles up, if that's not in the plan, then there's no fucking reason to have two belts. There has been no reason to have two belts for the last 6 months because they're defended as the same belt. So fucking just get rid of the second belt and just have a belt and have it be called the Undisputed Universal WWE Heavyweight Championship. Just one belt, right? Because there's no fucking reason to have two. It makes me angry. Anyways, but yeah. So that's the end of SmackDown.
maybe Trips will do that.
Now we're on to
Considering it.
AEW Dynamite. So the first card, that is Santana, correct?
Yep, Santana.
Okay. Sometimes
Second
hard to
card.
tell on them.
Tag teams 2.0.
Hey,
Really difficult to tell who they are.
Now here's the question: does that have them labeled as Cool Hand Angelo Parker and Daddy Magic Matt Menard?
No, it's Matt Lee and Jeff Parker.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know who those people are.
We got Gray Luchasaurus.
You want to know what
Oh,
makes Daddy
okay.
Magic's nipples hard?
We got one hand in our pocket. No, we got both hands in our pocket.
Nice.
And the other one's making a peace sign.
We got it's time to do some scissoring. Send it to me, ass boys.
Oh shit.
We got Brian Pillman Jr.
Yep.
I'm just making sure you know that
Made,
it's not the other
had to
one.
make sure we weren't confused.
We got announcer, good old JR. Oh, one for Smarks. QT Marshall.
Although I will give QT a compliment when we talk about AEW. So
Don't you dare. That whole Hobbs scenario should not be part of QT's
Nope.
doing.
there's a compliment. There's a compliment coming. I'm telling
We
you,
got Sammy Guevara.
there's a lot
Why
good
is he the
things to
best
talk
friends
about
now?
him.
We got no longer in AEW, Tully Blanchard. That's a duplicate. Going back to doing some scissoring, Anthony Bowens. Sorry. Here we go. We got the blade. We got, if he wasn't in WWE before, he'd be a who the fuck is this? However, he He was in WWE.
Heath
before.
Lee.
Who the fuck
It's
is
very
this?
limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
I have no
limited
idea what the
television
fuck you're
time.
doing with them. Yeah. At least Rick Ross is not on my TV anymore.
Jade, 2 out of 3 WBU hosts. Love this wrestler. Sorry, bud. Tag teams. Best of the world. Matt and Nate Jackson, Young Bucks.
Oh,
I feel like I should go this way so that
Yeah.
one of you can go the other way.
There you go. I'll be in the middle. I'll confuse the shit.
you're
Well,
Kenny
that's
Omega.
where
What do you mean?
Kenny
You're the
Omega's
best wrestler in the world. Yeah.
Christian Cage. Always love a good peep show.
Looking for my peeps.
Again, if it wasn't for WWE and the first 2 years in AEW, he would be, who the fuck is this?
Well, if he would just like admit to losing to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dax Harwood.
Who may or may not still be in AEW next month.
Oh, he's trolling. He's gonna stay in AEW.
Hardwood.
Cash Wheeler posted today that he had a long talk with Dax. They've decided what they're planning on doing, but they can't make it official until their contracts are up in April. They promise they will let everyone know as soon as they can.
They just sign another AEW contract. He always trolls, bro. Always. It's a constant trolley.
AEW.
I'm not saying I think they're going anywhere. I'm just saying it may or may not happen. We just don't know at the moment. The contract
but we do.
has not been
saying we
signed
do.
anew.
Gold card.
I hope they.
AEW Women's
AEW,
Champion,
but
Jamie Hayter.
For sure.
But this is before she
Hey.
won the championship.
Nope.
That was when she still had Rey Mysterio's butt.
Yes. Somewhere in Montreal or Omaha, there's sirens going off. We got some Jake Hager. Gold card.
I love this hat. I don't have a hat on though.
I love
I
this.
love this
hat.
hair.
Main features. Powerhouse Hobbs. Current
Hey.
TNT champion.
Thanks to QT Marshall. Fucking bullshit.
We got a main features. Thunder Rosa.
She should be
Doing a
back
lot with her
soon.
Insta. She should be back relatively soon. She didn't have to worry about losing the title to yep, Tony Storm now. And we got what's her name?
I can see what she's wearing. That actually might have been what she was actually wearing.
Yeah, very easily could be. It's a gold main feature Hikaru Shida. So this is a very nice card. Hikaru Shida. What's her name?
At least you know it
She's,
now perfectly.
She's she's
Yeah. Now it's only Tony Storm. I can never fucking remember her name.
she's
What was mine? Mercedes Martinez?
Yes.
No. Was it? Yeah? Okay.
Yes,
So now I can't forget it.
Martinez.
I remember I was like,
All right.
Mercedes.
Dynamite
It's AEW
started off with the re-bar mitzvah of MJF. One of the best segments they've done in a long time. MJF came out. He was wearing his kippah. He was wearing, I can't remember. I should know what the name of the cloth around his neck was. I can't remember. My brother will kill me for not knowing it. But anyways, he came out surrounded by some women who the first three of them kissed him on the cheek as they went to leave. And the third one flat out made out with him. Big
she
old
was a
tongue down the
model.
throat.
She was a Canadian model.
Yeah. So cool for MJF there.
I mean,
Anyways,
he lost his virginity at the first one. Why not re-lose his virginity? In the second
exactly.
one?
He then gave a little bit of a promo, and then had a group of guys come out with the chair, and they did Hava Nagila with the chair thing, and then they were interrupted by Jungle Boy Jack Perry's music. And he started to come down to the ring. And then Sammy Guevara's music hit. and he came down to the ring. And then Darby Allin's music hit, and he came down to the ring, and they had this really great promo moment
All the pillars.
with the pillars all saying that they deserve a shot at that belt. And this is one of those things we can't say for certain that they had this planned 2 years ago when they put out the pillars shirt, right? We can't say that this was their plan the whole time, that they would eventually, MJF would be the champion, and then they would have the other 3 pillars come out and they would all challenge him for it. I can't say that was their plan. I can say that they decided at some point to take advantage of that pillars gimmick from 2 years ago. And it was a good choice. Because now we've got an actual feud for the belt going on.
With 4 people.
With 4 people. That'll likely lead to a fatal 4-way at All Out.
Right.
All Out's the next one, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Double or Nothing? No, yeah, it's All Out.
No, All Out.
No, the next one technically is Forbidden Door.
True.
Oh, true. In Toronto. Still debating whether I'm going to go or not.
Here's the really great part about that. The pillars. The promo that MJF cut afterwards when he said, "You all had to join up with some other legend to make yourselves relevant."
Facts.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that
Except for
MJF
the fact
did it
that he
twice.
joined up with
Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes.
Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes, exactly.
He didn't
His
join up
first
with
whole
Cody
thing.
Rhodes, though?
Right off the bat, he did. That was
Yeah,
his
we're
first
best
thing.
friends. Like, he turned his back on him.
He was best friends with Cody
right.
Rhodes.
And then,
And,
obviously, with Chris Jericho, too. Okay.
And then turned over. So
Hence the reason he had the match with...
Right. Well,
no,
honestly,
Double or
though-
Nothing's the next one. I was wrong. It was the other way. Double or Nothing, May 28th. Forbidden Door 2, June 25th.
Oh, okay.
June 25th. Okay.
So they can't
then-
do it at Double or Nothing.
All Out is September 2nd or 3rd, somewhere around there, depending. So, Double or Nothing would be the first chance they could do it. And I think that's likely that they do a Fatal 4-Way there. You know, that's a month away.
Hell, you can have him beat all 3 of them, and then, you
Month
know,
or 2 months away.
here's the big thing. You can have him lose there, and it won't hurt him. Mm-hmm. Especially if he's
definitely
beat
wouldn't.
all 3 of them.
Or you can have him win in a fucking cheaty heel way. Because he's a heel and it's a Fatal 4-Way, so there's no DQ. So he can
Right.
use the Dynamite Diamond ring. He can use, you know, whatever. He can hit him with the belt for all that matters. Necro has some feelings, some real feelings about Forbidden Door 2. I'm sorry, I'm going to read this in Benoit Blanc's name. It's so dumb. They're doing USA Forbidden Door in Toronto. LOL, what the fuck is that? It's so
Makes
dumb.
zero sense. They can't run in
Zero
Japan.
sense.
These Forbidden shows are a disgrace.
Well, I mean, I honestly thought Forbidden Door 2 would have been maybe in Japan, though, because one was in North America and the other one was in Japan. So I see your point there. But, bro, you're Canadian. Just own up to the fact that it's in your fucking country on plus.
Also,
awesome.
here's what it's down to. There's a whole lot of scheduling shit that goes behind closed doors that we're not aware of, right? And it could have simply been that part of the negotiations for AEW and New Japan, this was the only time period that they could agree on it happening. And part of that just happened to happen where AEW was already working on a tour of Canada. Because that's part of a month-long Canadian show tour.
Yeah, you know what pisses me off? Fucking Saskatchewan gets 2 shows, but Montreal doesn't even get one. One of the biggest wrestling cities in Canada. Like, what the fuck, Con? Maybe it has something to do with WWE, and maybe I don't know. There with I don't know, with them possibly not being able to take the Bell Center, or I have
Who
no
knows?
idea.
You
But
wait long enough, and a conspiracy theory might come true. So it could be
Mm-hmm.
WWE.
Could be. Who knows? But in the end, like I say, there's so many things about scheduling that we don't know. It literally is one of those things. This could have been the only time that they could work it out, right? They're like,
I'm just mad they aren't going to be in Saskatoon. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
There it is.
last year's Forbidden
Saskatchewan.
Door was June 26th. So this also is basically the 1-year anniversary of Forbidden Door. So that's the time they do it. So it could be that New Japan was like, hey, we can't get a stadium at that time here for us to do that big of an event. For whatever reason, Carrick Hall is sold out for that day. I don't know. We don't know what's all going on behind the scenes, right? But in the end, I'm excited to see some crossover wrestling. I'm excited to see a potential for an Okada coming over, potentially wrestling against
When's their show?
Forbidden Door, 25th.
Mark my words.
No,
25th.
Okay, 25th.
Omega.
So the only thing that they have is it like in May, and they have nothing else in New Japan. It looks like
They will do Omega versus Osprey 2.
I would think that was probably the plan, but Osprey's out with an injury right now, and I don't know how serious the injury is, but he announced that he was going to be missing some time for an injury, so it could be that he I don't know if he's available. I mean, this is 3 months from now, so could be that he's available, could be not. I'm just saying I'm not going to hold my breath on it at the moment.
Right.
But I'm going to point out last year Osprey versus Orange Cassidy tore the house down. Right?
Yeah, that was a great match.
Jay White no longer in New Japan. So I would anticipate we have Jay White wrestling as an American. We don't know if he's coming to AEW. He might be going to WWE. If he goes to WWE, of course, this goes out the window. But if he doesn't go to WWE, I would imagine they sign him for a one-night event to do a storyline of ex-New Japan guy versus a New Japan something. Moxley will go against someone. It could be Moxley versus Okada. Two of the biggest stars from each promotion. Moxley can easily take a loss and not hurt him in any way, shape, or form. I mean,
If anyone can
not
do it, it's definitely Moxley.
not hurt him in terms of storyline wise. I mean, he's going to be hurt because he bled for the house show yesterday that wasn't even televised, so he'll bleed. I'm to the point now that I'm convinced that Moxley's getting to the Ric Flair levels of just his forehead skin is so thin that he just busts open in every show, regardless of whether he wants to or not.
That might be very possible. Yeah.
Because he's like, well, I'll bleed at this house show that 6,000 people are going to do it.
I mean, to be fair, he does it in an indie show with GCW when they're not televised or whatever have you. So
last year we got that fatal 4-way match for the at the time named All Atlantic Championship. We will talk more about that today in a little bit. That had Pac versus Clark Connors versus Miro versus Malachi Black. That was a phenomenal match that Pac won. I could see them doing another Fatal 4-Way to establish some of that stuff. Fatal 4-Ways are great for these situations because you can have a bunch of wrestlers and none of them look bad, even if they don't win it. You know what I mean? If FTR is still with AEW, they will probably go against someone like United Empire or something like that in another match. I mean, I can see a lot of great stuff happening in it, so I'm excited for it, even if it's happening in Toronto. Now, I'm also going to point out that it's called Forbidden Door, not because it's Americans versus New Japan, but because it's New Japan versus a promotion that's not New Japan, right? You know what I mean? So I don't see it as that big of a deal that it's not in the United States, because it's not billed as USA versus New Japan. It's
Right.
non-New Japan
WWE
versus New
shit
Japan.
right there.
Yeah, that would yeah. They would put together a League of Nations that were invaders coming in to beat us Americans. And then they would bring in fucking Lance Storm to be serious for a moment and
That's a
lead
fair point,
the
yeah.
Serious
Canadian
for a
invaders.
moment.
You know, Lance
Like
Storm.
him, but he's foreign.
Lance Storm is 5'10" and he doesn't look it. The only reason I know that is he posted a picture, and it was a picture of him standing next to Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's billed as 5'7", and he said, "There's no way Rhea Ripley's only 5'7". I'm 5'10", and she's towering over me." And I want to point out that I always saw Lance Storm as a small guy, and 5'10" is 3 inches taller than me.
And I did see Rhea Ripley live. She's roughly, I feel like I was taller than her, and I'm 5'10". So
I don't know.
Yeah.
This picture, she was definitely taller than him. Now, that being said, we'll point out
Also
women
wears platforms. So
often wear platform shoes, so
Right.
that'll play into it. But anyways, AEW Dynamite. So we started off with that great thing with the pillars, leading to some great stuff. Probably going to be at Double or Nothing. I don't think they're going to stretch it all the way out to Forbidden Door or All Out. It'll probably be at Double or Nothing. But that's a great 2.5-month feud to go in, and will probably lead to a singles feud, whoever feels most slighted. In fact, it'll probably lead to 2 singles feuds. What'll come out of it is MJF versus whoever they decide is the top babyface from that. Probably Jungle Boy, if I'm going to go out on a limb.
most likely Jungle Boy.
Maybe Darby Allin. It's going to be either one of those, because it's not going to be Sammy Guevara, right?
No.
And then whoever's left over versus Sammy Guevara in a feud. They're probably going to have it where Darby costs Sammy Guevara or, whatever, his spot. So now Sammy's pissed at Darby because I should have been world champion and you stopped me. And Jungle Boy is like, I almost had you. MJF, if it was just me and you, I would have won. And MJF could be like, no, you wouldn't have. Anyways.
We're kind of the same height. And she's not wearing platforms.
She's not wearing platforms there. You are correct.
And I'm kind of like down a bit too, so I'm not necessarily standing.
So, there were some great little moments though in this, where MJF made fun of Sammy Guevara and said, "What are you gonna propose to a girlfriend in the next 7 weeks or something like that?"
Right.
And Sammy Guevara said back, "Oh, it's funny you should say that, because didn't your fiance just dump you?" And then my favorite thing was Darby Allin saying, all these people backstage, all these veterans who are like, I'm just not happy here. They go on Twitter and they're like, I'm not happy. I want out of my contract. I want happy. They're not giving me the match I want. I'm not happy. You know what I'm going to do, Ryan? I want to face you. I'm going to take that title off from you. And if I don't win, then I'm going to probably just bitch about it on Twitter. Which was a great little moment. Anyways. After that, you had Hangman Page and the Dark Order versus Blackpool Combat Club, which was a great match. Blackpool Combat Club won, but what was really great about this was it was the return of Stu fucking Grayson, who was announced afterwards is All Elite again. They actually put again on the graphic, and that made me laugh. Stu Grayson is All Elite again.
Again. Yeah. That's awesome.
So we've got the Dark Order back together as a tag team. As the Dark Order. As the former Super Smash Brothers. So I'm hopeful to see some of that. It also, I think, opens it up for what I think is going to happen, which I think it's going to be Hangman joining back with the Elite. They've been kind of teasing a darker Hangman recently anyways. And so I think we're going to start to see Hangman back with the Elite. In fact, that happened later on. So,
well, yes and no. Yes, but there was a tease.
There was a tease. That's what I said. They're teasing it, and it sort of happened later on. We'll talk about it. Anyways.
Tease.
But yeah, Stu is phenomenal. He's a great wrestler. I've been a little disappointed recently in Evil Uno. He lost a ton of weight. He looked really good. And now he's gained back a bunch of that weight. He's looking a little pudgy again.
Hey, I got nothing against you for that.
And I'm just like, man, you were looking so good. But now you've got Stu Grayson back, and I guess it's all good. But then we had Jade Cargill. I mentioned this earlier. She had her Open Challenge, her Canadian Open Challenge. She challenged any Canadian women's wrestler to step up. And when she came out to the ring, there was, again, as I mentioned, longtime Shimmer competitor Nicole Matthews already in the ring, given the jobber entrance, and did the job in a very fast fashion. But after the match, Taya Valkyrie's music hit. And you knew it was Taya Valkyrie's music because her name was in big neon letters up on the screen. Taya Valkyrie. Because I wouldn't have recognized it as Taya Valkyrie's music at first. I don't even know if it's music she'd ever come out to before. Anyway.
That's fair.
But she came out. And she's going to challenge down the ring. And like I said, I think this is going to be, like I said, 2-month feud leading up to Double or Nothing. And then maybe a little bit longer if it takes Chris Statlander a little bit longer to come back. She should be pretty close to coming back here soon. So, and then they had the match that was for the newly renamed, or to quote Tony Khan, leveled up AEW International Championship. And the belt is...
I think it's a better name for the title.
It is a better name for the title. It fits the setting of the title. The belt is identical to the All Atlantic Championship, except for it says International, right? Which is fine by me, right? Because the belt is beautiful. I love the belt. I was worried at first that they were going to change the belt, and they didn't. I'm a sucker for the idea of paying homage to the Mid-Atlantic Championship. I get it. But they got crap from day one because it's got a fucking Japanese flag right on it. And then they said...
But it's the All-Atlantic.
It's the All-Atlantic Championship. And I go, but Japan's in the Pacific.
But
Anyways.
wrestling is sometimes scripted. Remember, it works for our scenario. But
anyway, what I really loved about this match, Jeff Jarrett came out to the ring And then Orange Cassidy's music hit, and he came out and he stopped in front of the display of the new International Championship, and he opened up his book bag, and he grabbed the new International Championship, and he stuck it in his book bag, and they took the All Atlantic out, and he just kind of plopped it on the display, and then got into the ring. And I just love that he's like, "This is my belt now. I'm gonna change it in, whatever." And much to my chagrin, it was a decent match. I hate Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, I'm just so happy he didn't win, though. I was just
I would have flipped a table if he'd have won. I would have come up here. I would have gotten my folding table. I would have taken it down to the living room. I would have set it up just so I could flip it.
For sure.
Put somebody through it.
But it was still a pretty decent match.
I think Jeff Jarrett's coming into his own on putting other people over, though.
That's fine. I still don't want to see him on my TV, even if he's putting people over. I just don't want to see him on my TV.
I understand.
I'm tired of it. I'm done.
That's it. I think he's generally just there to put people over, but just sometimes it worries me. Just just of him getting this match for
especially because this whole match was based on the fact that he had Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt all at ringside, and they all tried to cheat to help him win. But it was a decent match. It was okay.
Yeah.
We did also I thought it was weird that only Trent Beretta came out to try to help Orange Cassidy. And no Chucky T. But then afterwards it came out that Chucky T had to have emergency dental surgery. Oh. And he is going to miss a month or so as he recovers from that. So I guess I'll give him a pass on that.
Yeah.
We then had a promo from the Outcasts where they talked again about how they weren't appreciated.
Also, an emergency surgery in the last week with Danhausen.
Yes, that's the other thing. Danhausen didn't come out. Danhausen injured himself at the last pay-per-view. Tore his pectoral muscle. It's the same injury that Cody Rhodes had, although not, because Cody Rhodes tore it here, and Danhausen tore it here. And those are two very important differences. Because when you tear it here, it's painful for a bit, but you still have basic functionality, right? Because there's still some connection. But when you tear it here, you have nothing to allow you to do this motion.
Yep. Can't go back.
Oh, dirty. Can't go back and forth.
Because that's the muscle
no clotheslines
that pulls it forward.
Also, side note, Danhausen's still very evil, very nice. And now added to that, very injured.
Very injured.
Very injured.
But he still can tweet like a mother. And I'm trying to remember exactly who it was.
I feel like he needs to put a hex on somebody because of the injury. I don't care if it's RJ City. I would enjoy if it was RJ.
Oh yeah, it was MJF. MJF tweeted out a picture of him standing in front of his green Corvette, saying "Happy birthday to me," and he's wearing a hoodie that's very similar to the Homer Simpson muumuu that Danhausen wore backstage at the last pay-per-view. And so Danhausen responded to it. Since you bought a matching hoodie, will you buy Danhausen a matching Corvette too? We can be the great boy team. Have you heard of PT Cruisers? Hot new sports car that Dwayne has. Speaking of Dwayne, do you want to go to the movies this weekend and see Shazam! Fury of the Gods? And MJF said, I fucking hate you.
Oh, Jesus.
I love Danhausen. But yeah, here's hoping a speedy recovery for him.
Oh, that's old. Never mind. Yeah. Kind of weird that we only heard about it.
Yeah, it took a while for it to come out. I imagine he had like second opinions.
That's fair.
He first went to one doctor and was like, "No, I want a second opinion." So, anyways, Ruby Soho, Saraya, and Tony Storm came out and gave a whole bunch more of the, we're the outcasts and we're here. And then they had Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker come out to attack them. And for a short period of time, Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker looked like they were doing okay, but then they got overwhelmed. And then Riho wielding a lead pipe, which was kind of fun to watch Riho swinging her lead pipe. Lead pipe was almost bigger than her, I swear. Anyways, Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue all came out to chase the heels out. And so we're starting this four-way faction. I would anticipate here that it's going to lead to a War Games match. A Blood and Guts match. Outcasts versus AEW Originals for the women. We just need one more Outcast. At least one more. It needs to be at least 4-on-4. They could do 5-on-5. They've got five women, so they could get 2 more Outcasts for the women. Anyways, I anticipate that they're probably pushing for something similar to that with the Elite here coming up. We will talk about that when we get to it shortly. The main event for Dynamite was the Trios Championship. The Elite versus the current champions, House of Black versus Jericho Appreciation Society. This was a fun match. I really enjoyed this match. House of Black came up with a solid victory. There was teases here and there. Someone else might be winning, someone else might be winning, but in the end, House of Black looked badass and came out with a solid victory. Afterwards, there was a brawl in the thing, but there was also a brawl going on backstage between Blackpool Combat Club and Dark Order that finished with Blackpool Combat Club fighting with Hangman Page all the way to the ring. Hangman Page in the ring fighting with them. The Elite sliding in behind Hangman Page, scaring off the rest of Blackpool Combat Club. And the final thing we saw on Dynamite was Hangman Page turning around to see the Elite behind him. But what's really fucking cool about it, and I'm going to see if it ended up getting saved to my photos so I can share it, because I 100% downloaded this picture because someone did it, where they showed how the it didn't get uploaded. The images between the Elite being behind Hangman Page, this one directly mirrored the Elite being behind Hangman Page on their program 2 years ago when they split up.
Oh, really?
It was the exact same order of them. What did I do? I shared that with someone, didn't I? Did I share it with us?
I don't even think you shared that with us. That would have been a great share onto our thing. Would have found it right away.
Okay, so it must have been, I texted to my friend at work. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, they put them side by side. It literally showed they were almost identical.
That's cool.
Let me see if I can find it this way. I found it on Twitter. I'm relatively certain I liked it. So I'm sure Necro's happy that Maki Ito is now one of the tag champions. That was really, she's now a tag champion in Japan. And
Oh, nice.
she tweeted out.
She got a new outfit for it and everything, apparently.
Yeah, she tweeted out, "I'm tag champs now, motherfucker." Oh, come on, I can't find it. Got it here. Gotta make it smaller. This isn't the exact one I found the other day, but it's close. So you can see here. The one I found the other day actually had slightly different angle of the old one, stacked almost identical with this one. But the top one is when the Elite officially split, and the bottom one is the ending of Dynamite. Like I said, that wasn't the exact one I found. But it's a really close one.
Okay, yeah, but they definitely, obviously, took into consideration, and
Yeah.
they were teasing a reuniting of the Elite for a while too. They just kind of pushed it along, so pushed it down a bit.
Definitely been teasing it because, like I said last week, I think, backstage when Hangman was talking to the Dark Order, like 2 weeks ago, in his locker was the Young Bucks shoes, their signature series shoes that they just recently put out.
Right.
And so they've been teasing it for a while, but I think this is going to be at least part of it, and I'm all for it. God, I wish I could find the exact one because it was really the people who did this exact one. They actually double exposed it up, so Hangman was standing in the same spot, and Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson are in almost identical spots in similar poses, and the only difference is kind of Kenny Omega's position as to, so it's very, very similar in this particular angle. I wish I could find the picture. I thought I'd shared it, but I must not have. Anyways.
Boom. But yeah, no, fantastic Dynamite through and through. Just great beginning, great ending. I mean, I could have done with, just, the fact that we got Taya Valkyrie come back was awesome too. So,
So what do you think the odds are we see Johnny Elite soon?
I think it's still relatively slim.
yeah, I don't know. I don't. Why? Because she's going out with John
They're
Morrison.
married, bud.
She's married
married?
to John Morrison.
All right,
They're
my
married.
bad.
Been married.
They're
for
married.
years.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think we saw one off, right? He went once to AEW, did one little appearance, and that was it. I think that's all that's really going to be. I don't think he's I don't think he's going to get signed to them, though, just because his wife's there now.
That's a valid answer. I said, what do you think the odds? Say there's
Slim to none. They don't need him.
I'm going to say I think it's less than 20%.
Yeah.
Are you saying ever? Are you saying ever or immediately?
Soonish.
Define soon. 6 months?
No.
I think it's more than a year.
Okay, more than a year. See? There. I don't need to define soon. Soon. Soon's whatever you think soon is. Necro, incredible stuff as usual for Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Great storytelling, fun style, stark contrast to the serious Stardom Wrestling. He says Johnny Elite needs to just keep going to new companies and continue to add to his 20-plus ring names.
That's fair. Yep. That'll be his gimmick, and maybe he'll get as much money as Cardona by adding on all the ring names to it. It's Johnny Elite, Nitro, Morrison. Duh, 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 duh.
I think he's running out of promotions he can go to, though.
This is a fair point. Yep.
Johnny Zello.
Hey, there we go.
I'm there for it if they come to Nebraska.
I mean, I guess he could come to Omaha and do Johnny Magnum. That's a good one.
That sounds like a condom.
I think that was the joke.
Nope, sure wasn't.
I mean, I certainly don't fit in there.
I believe it.
Small.
No, I need a zip tie. It's too big; it falls off. Twist tie. Used one once. 9 months later, my son was born with a birth cap. I'm joking. That didn't happen. Everyone knows I don't got a son. That I know of.
Oh my god.
I feel like most of yours have been serious relationships. I feel like that might be a JLB thing. Floozying around. I mean, look away yours around on podcast.
Yeah, seriously.
We're taking a hiatus for the other one until like Easter. So
Yeah, so instead you start promoting a different podcast on your
Skank.
Facebook.
What do you mean? What other one am I promoting?
You retweeted a podcast just 2 days ago. Like posted it on your page. They even thanked you.
It's not even a wrestling podcast.
It doesn't matter. It's still cheating on us.
Oh, Jesus.
Little whore.
What can I tell you? Jesus, you're such a stalker.
I'm on Facebook some. What am I talking about, you know?
There are times I wonder how you have so much time to be on Facebook. You're on Facebook a little more than some, but
I am fortunate enough to have a job that I can do and multitask and check things on Facebook every once in a while. Because certain things take a certain amount of time to do. So I press go and then I can't do anything for 2 to 5 minutes. So I go do. I also have a job that's very strict on the 15-minute breaks in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon, and you have to take your lunch. We will force you to take your lunch. Because it's the law in America, you have to, if you're working more than 6 hours, you have to have a 30-minute lunch at least.
Right.
But some companies like to play it a little bit fast and loose with that and be like, oh, maybe you don't take a lunch, and we just pay you a little bit more. Just keep it between us that you didn't take a lunch. Maybe we'll buy you pizza. That can be your lunch.
I like pizza.
And I always respond with, I like pizza. Oh, great. Thanks for buying it for me. Now I'm going to take my lunch to eat my pizza.
Yep.
Okay, to answer Necro, it is Rampage time. He seems excited about Rampage, I guess.
Thought it was bedtime. Damn it.
Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ray Phoenix for the TNT title. I guess they had to do this sort of a match because
I don't know how much I agreed with this one.
I was kind of like here's where I'm torn. Like, we need to give Powerhouse Hobbs some serious wins with the TBS title or TNT title.
Ray Phoenix.
But Ray Phoenix, yeah, you gotta go to Ray Phoenix.
Right.
Come on, man. But this is where they did have. Oh, I forgot to mention on the Dynamite, they did reveal who stole the TNT title from Wardlow in the first episode of QTV. They've been teasing it on AEW Dark and stuff like that for QTV for a while. And sure enough, it was QT Marshall was behind QTV. Of course he was. But here's where I say I'm going to give him a little bit of praise, because QTV was legitimately entertaining. It was legitimately
It
fun.
was. It just reminded me of what WWE did back in the day too, though, and I was just like,
Well, because it's a parody of TMZ. I don't know if you have ever seen TMZ, but they always have this thing where they're sitting around this cubicle, and the boss man is like, "Hey, did we have any footage of this thing that happened?" And then they play the footage, and then they all like crack jokes about it or whatever, and they're all bad jokes. They're not funny. It's not a funny show.
Why was Batista mentioned?
I can't remember exactly. It probably had something to do with "Give Me What I Want." But I don't know.
I think so. I think maybe that might have been it. Okay. But it was just weird. I was like, what? I was like, okay.
They had some random female indie wrestler in there. They didn't mention her name. She cracked a joke, and then we never heard from her again. We'll see if she comes back on the next one. But for at least the time being, and I can feel like this might be short-lived, but for the time being, QTV was entertaining. And it was and partially because it was relatively short, it was relatively well produced. It filled just the right amount of time and then didn't go over. The problem I think that may happen is if they start to feel we like them too much, they start to make them longer. They start to make them, they say, hey, let's do it live. Let's do QTV and set up the cubicles in the ring like WWE would do. Not down with that, right? Have it be short, backstage, like just like it was. So, anyways, then you had Taya Valkyrie versus Eva Lawless. This was another quick job match. It ended up with Taya Valkyrie giving Eva Lawless the I can't remember what Jade Cargill calls it, but it's the Glam Slam. Jaded. That's right. Yeah, it's the Glam Slam. I still don't like the move, even when Jade Cargill does it, even when Taya Valkyrie does it, but at least they're telling a storyline of Taya Valkyrie taunting Jade with her own move. So, then you had Bollywood Boys versus Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. That match is fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's a whole lot of picture-in-picture, though, so... yeah. And then the main event for the night was Daniel Garcia versus Brody King. How
was this match?
It was a decent match. It was interesting because they actually gave Daniel Garcia the win over Brody King, the much larger Brody King. Now they did it with the help of Jericho's baseball bat.
Okay.
So it was a cheat to win. But it was interesting from a standpoint of they've been booking Brody King as a monster, and he legitimately towers over Daniel Garcia. Legitimately towers. I mean, he's a fucking scary ass guy. I've told you that before. So
right.
But all in all, a pretty decent show. And capped things off for a pretty decent week, I think.
And upcoming this week, Necro gives us...
Well, first... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the reason why I missed Rampage is because it wasn't on at 10. Was it on at like 5 or 7 or something?
No, it was
this
on
Friday?
late. It got
it was on
postponed
late.
due to, and which is why the ratings haven't come out. But I'm going to say right now, the ratings for Rampage are going to be shitty.
For sure.
They just are.
It was actually postponed due to an upset game.
NCAA, yeah.
Finishing at that time.
Yeah, the game actually went long.
Oh, snap. Okay.
And was one of 2 of the biggest upsets in the history of the NCAA tournament.
But so the ratings are going to be shitty because instead of taking place at its usual 9 p.m. Central Time, which is 10 p.m. your time, it wasn't until it was pushed on the schedule to 10:30 Central Time, but it didn't actually go live until about 11 Central Time, which would be midnight your time.
Oh shit. Okay.
So the ratings, 100% are going to be shitty because it got pushed back, and the DVR ratings might not even be great either, because I know for a fact my DVR didn't know what the fuck to do, and so it knew well enough to push it back to 10:30, but my DVR had almost 30 minutes of the ending of the basketball game. Before Rampage happened. And then because of it, it didn't record all of Rampage because it was like, oh, Rampage should be done in, like it's got a 15-minute overrun. So it records for an hour and 15. The show started 30 minutes late.
Right.
So it recorded 45 minutes and then it was like, it's done. It was not done.
No. Well, you're not going to leave it. Not going to leave it on for so long too, and then.
Well,
hopefully it doesn't happen too often because that's kind of ridiculous.
I'm a little frustrated that we live in the year of our Lord 2023, and DVRs aren't smart enough to start when the show actually starts, not based on a time, but based on
the
when actual start of the show.
Change your settings.
And okay, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you: there's no setting for Sling TV. Other DVRs might have it. YouTube TV might have it. Sling TV.
Is that an actual setting? It will actually play when it shows the intro to like the legit show you want, even if it's preempted by.
Will record an hour long if you so decide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's fine at recording long.
Okay.
It still means you've got 30 plus minutes of not the right stuff at the beginning to fast forward through.
Yeah.
We are in 2023. We've got multiple billionaires sending people to outer space, right?
In penis-shaped rockets.
In penis-shaped rockets. They're not compensating for anything, I swear. But so I know for a fact, right, that broadcasts have tones that play to trigger commercials, to trigger the start of an episode, to the end of an episode, when to air the hourly station identification, which they're required to. All of these things. These things are all triggered by tones, right? DVRs can pick up those tones and could trigger based on those, right? On top of it, DVRs should be smart enough. We've got a chat program that can fucking book a wrestling show for us based on some simple chat commands, right? With AI and all of that shit, DVRs should be smart enough to start when the show actually starts, regardless of whether it's pushed back or pushed forward or whatever. You shouldn't have to change settings, and they should be able to end whenever the show ends. We shouldn't have to be like, put an hour of overrun on it. It just
when you thought we couldn't get any more lazier, folks. There you have it. A PVR.
Oh! I have to hit fast forward.
Oh my god!
I'm telling you again.
Press this button, and then I have to press
Sling
another
TV,
button to play it.
Sling TV does not have the option of extending the recording any longer. It doesn't. It's not there.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I can't even do that and just say record for fucking 2 hours, right? I don't care if you record 8 hours. I want this episode. I can't do that, right? The only thing I could do is go in and set it to record whatever was after it, which I can do, which I did do. But then it ends up as 2 separate files because the DVR thinks this is fucking reruns of MASH or whatever the fuck it was, not the program that was before, right?
Right.
And I'm going to say this right now. In fucking 1999, I could set my VCR to record for 4 hours if I wanted to, right?
Yeah, it's just a YouTube thing.
So, no. So it's one of those things where we've moved backwards in some of this stuff. Okay, we're going to move on because Necro's going to have a fucking aneurysm if we don't talk about all of his shit. We love you, Necro. So, to start off, we had No Man's Land Wrestling on Friday. It was a GCW-style show, some pure wrestling to open up, and a deathmatch main event with some tubes got busted. GCW in New York on Friday was not great overall, but Masha Slamovich defeated Nick Gage for the GCW heavyweight title. I think we mentioned that earlier. Or was that off-air? I can't remember.
It might have been off-air.
Brain doesn't remember
I think I was
things.
off air.
Brain don't think good sometimes. So Masha Slamovich is the GCW heavyweight champion. Big moment. Tokyo Joshi Pro Grand Princess 2023 was incredible and must-see stuff, he says. Great show top to bottom. New Japan Cup has been rolling on. Sonata left. I always, Los Ingobernables de Japón. I always fucking marble mouth it. And turned on Naito. So it's Sonata versus David Finlay finals, right? We then had Satu Jin versus Mouse was Insanity. Rika Tatsumi is a Grand Slam champion in Tokyo Joshi Pro. Maki Ito wins tag gold. Mizuki is the new Princess of Princess champion, right? Wicked great stuff in All Japan Pro Wrestling from Karakin Hall. There was an amazing show from CMLL at Arena Mexico. Rocky Romero lost a hair versus hair match and got shaved. There was an incredible ICW No Holds Barred Pit Fighter X16 show that was dedicated to the recently passed away indie referee Manban, aka SPO, Sean Patrick O'Brien. Incredible pro wrestling Noah show with Kento Miyahara showing up and Jake Lee defeating Kaito Kiyomiya for the GHC World title. There was a crapshoot of AAA Lucha Libre World Cup show featuring a lot of mainstream wrestling stars. Team Mexico won in the end after like 3 draws and some ridiculous Johnny Morrison versus Pentagon Jr. final match. Ridiculously bad show overall. GCW started slow but ended up being a pretty fun show. Sexy Eddie was buck naked in the ring. Rena and Lufisto excellent. Masha versus Mike Bailey main event. Upcoming, we got world record 5-hour Karakin Hall show for DDT Pro Wrestling Anniversary event. Pro Wrestling Grind Overkill Open episode 64. Sean Henderson present Passing By Limitless Wrestling Reasonable Doubt, Beyond Wrestling's Test of Time, AIW Wrestling, Impact Sacrifice, Stardom, DDT, Tokyo Joshi Pro, Lucha Libre, CMML, IWRG. I think I'm finally caught up. Nope. He just wants to talk about wrestling.
Talk about wrestling.
It's fucking dumb.
You talk perfectly out loud. You can. You did that perfectly, good sir. Well done.
I've had a lot of practice talking.
Yes, you're right.
One of these times I'm going to try to do it in like one breath and then I'm going to pass out.
Well, it's the end of the show
Lots of
anyway.
good fucking wrestling all over the place. Right.
Yeah. Straight up.
Also in the news this week, Davey Richards is out of wrestling.
Who?
Davey Richards, he's been in independent wrestling. He's been in Ring of Honor. He's been kind of everywhere.
Okay.
He's also a tool bag.
Oh.
One half of American Wolves, one of the greatest tag teams. But like I said, he is also apparently an absolute bag of tools. So he's apparently in a custody battle with his now ex-wife over their children. I don't know how many there are. And court documents came out with the custody battle with allegations of spousal assault, as well as rampant drug use, like cocaine bear levels of drug use.
Oh shit. Okay.
And so all of the wrestling promotions that had booked him, and even ones that hadn't booked him but might someday book them, have all basically said, "Fuck off! We're not doing it. We're not booking you.
Right.
We're canceling what we have booked for you. We're not going to book you in the future. We're done." So much so that he issued a statement saying that he's just out. He says, "I'm retiring from wrestling because even if a company were to book me, these allegations and the scandal of this would overshadow the actual event, and that's not good for the wrestling. That's not good for anything else. And so instead, I'm going to focus on myself and focus on my family." And you know what? Again, these are allegations of assault, but they're allegations made in the court of law. No charges have been filed, but they're still allegations we have to take seriously because they are in a court of law. And not like he's said that he didn't ever abuse his wife. So take that into consideration. He noticeably did not deny the rampant cocaine bear levels of cocaine use. So, I don't know. Maybe
His statement went as follows: "Hello, everyone. Wow, what a couple days. There are allegations of domestic violence against me. The allegations I adamantly deny, and if you look on CaseNet in MO under my name, Wesley David Richards, you'll see there are no charges filed against me. I do understand the industry stance on this matter. The pic being posted on my wife's eye is from training, and we regulatory train in martial arts, as many of you students have got black eyes and such." So, yeah, it's a bit much. Just, I don't like when they make these things kind of public. Just go into the court system because, I don't want to say who's right and who's wrong.
Again,
it's an allegation.
So, I will point out that all reports say that he or his wife did not make this public. This came out of publicly available court documents, right?
Oh,
And so it was it was news investigative journalists that found the stuff
okay.
and brought it to light. Not like his wife releasing it to the public to try to get back at him or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was legitimately the court document coming out and showing all of the stuff. And I'm trying to see if I can find, because there's a screenshot of it. To answer you, Necro, I think all of us stayed on and watched for probably about half an hour or so after the last one to watch some sumo.
Yeah.
It was a
Well,
ton
I
of fun.
Entertaining.
I
Both
think it
of
was
us had
pretty
to
much
work
over
the next
though.
morning. Oh no, there was when we left. There was a whole other group of.
Oh snap! Okay. Yeah, and some people really were into it in the chat. Like the chat is kind of what made it fun too. And some people were
the chat moved way too fast for my old eyes to fucking keep up with.
For sure. But it was the ones you got a glimpse of, though. Yeah, but no, it's fun. It was definitely something different. So I enjoyed it. Kudos for letting us know about that or suggesting we raid his channel because yeah, that was fun.
It was very fun.
Yeah, it was tons of fun. My favorite are the ones who come in there and they look outmatched because they were smaller than
Right.
their opponent or whatever, and then fucking the match started and they just threw the opponent down, like, get out of my.
Or the one where the guy was about to literally knock him out, and then he's just like, "Nope, you're coming over here."
Nope, boom, go. So. The only complaint I have, and it has nothing to do with the sumo, it has entirely
English commentary.
to do with. Well, it would be nice for English commentary for us because we don't speak Japanese, or at the very least some sort of subtitles to kind of go. But no, my complaint actually has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with the way that we broadcast our show through StreamYard. When I did the raid, it doesn't switch our video over to it. And so we raided, and then we had to end this broadcast, and then just manually go over to ourselves. So the raid was kind of for nothing. You know what I mean? And that's
No, but yeah, but I was in our channel, and it went to the sumo guy.
Not on our channel.
Yeah, sorry.
Because I had to end this broadcast. I went to our channel, and it was just my stupid face sitting here going,
"Oh no! Yeah, you have to end it. Yeah. You have to end it for sure, and then I will go."
Yep. But and that's just I think a StreamYard.
That is just a StreamYard thing, yeah. Because if you do it on
Fucking thing.
OBS or direct through console, and you raid someone, it goes right away.
Yeah. So that, like I said, a StreamYard thing. There are some things I have a love-hate relationship with StreamYard. I think you guys know this. I keep trying to find something to replace StreamYard with, and I come across these things and they have all these cool features, and then they just don't fucking work. And StreamYard just fucking works, right? I would love for our on-screen graphics to look nicer. I would love to have a nicer overall interface. I would love to have some of these cool features, like being able to move the things around. But StreamYard just fucking works, right? I keep playing with OBS, and I don't think my computer will handle it very well. Even though it's brand new. But I think because it's a Mac Mini, the graphics card doesn't keep up. And it just loads out my CPU. And because we're doing this from 3 separate locations, I have to go through some sort of a third party to get all of our screens on there. And now I can go through Twitch. Twitch has the guest star feature. And I keep planning on trying that out. But like last time I tried to put that together for us through OBS, it like pegged CPU 9%.
Either way, you can do like a Skype call, Zoom call, or whatever kind of call anyways, and then just grab our faces and put them wherever you want in the OBS.
It's tagging my CPU. Regardless of what way I did it, right, going to OBS was pegging my CPU. And the unfortunate thing, you can't upgrade RAM on Mac Mini. You just fucking can't.
Mac Mini, no.
Whatever you buy it with is what it fucking has.
That's it. Well, even Macs is the whole issue.
Well, if you get the Mac Pros, you can upgrade almost anything in them. If I were to get, I'm fucking kicking myself because at the time I had the money. What called Mac Studio, up from the Mac Mini. I think it's called the Mac Studio. It's not cheap. Like the Mac Mini that I got was like $900 or whatever, and the Mac Studio would have been like $2,400.
Right. Does have the M1 chip though. Whoop whoop.
Yep, the one that I have has the M1 chip.
Oh snap! Okay. So this is like their new Mac Minis then?
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gee, right now, everyone on their dog fucking. Mac Studio is the one that I almost could have started.
Boom. Okay, let's wrap the show up because I feel like everyone's tired.
Everything. Anyways, should have got that. I should have paid extra $1,500 that. But I was trying to be fiscally responsible.
That's fair. They do have installment plans too, so you could technically do that.
Well,
next time.
Okay, yeah, they do. However, part of the fiscally responsible is I'm trying to buy a house, and I don't want any extra runs on my credit prior to buying a house because that could get in the way of me buying a house.
That's fair.
Once I bought a house, then I might be like, "Oh, hey, now I can do a run on my credit and I can get that fucking Mac Studio." And go with the M1 Ultra with all the fucking render speed and shit like that and be a champ. Anyways. Yes, thanks for coming, Necro. We are happy to talk some Japanese Puro, Joshi, Lucha, and Deathmatch, even if we are not able to catch it ourselves all the time. We love having someone come on our show to talk about it. And,
Yeah,
if you ever get set up with, like, a camera and a microphone, in fact, I think I've mentioned something about sending you a microphone if you get set up. All you got to do is get a crappy-ass computer and a webcam, and I'll send you a USB microphone. I got like 3 of them sitting in a box because I'm one of those people who I bought one, and then after 6 months, I was like, no, I need a different one. And then, so I bought another one. And then I was like, no, I need a different one. So I bought another one. And then I was like, no, I need an XLR interface. So then I bought that, and then I needed another one for that. Anyways, so I got a bunch of USB microphones. I will fucking put it in a box.
I think I do have ADHD as well. I did the exact same thing. God damn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, I will send you one. You get a webcam set up in a corner of a room, put a fucking towel up behind you or a sheet up to block out the rest of the room and start doing a show. I will send you, and then we'll invite you onto this show to talk about it face to face, and you can geek out all you want and learn our fans about some pro wrestling. But in that note, I know let's fall asleep. Off, and usually
Proved him wrong.
Yeah, he's breaking up for me like all kinds right now, though.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, but on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit. We'll be back in a couple days with the Fan Booking Institute, where we will talk about fantasy booking and have some fun games. I'm going to have to come up with a game that doesn't involve a pack of cards because I don't have any cards right now and all the stores around me are out. And so no cards for me. You got some Chronicles and some Prisms. Oh, my store's fucking suck. I did figure it out, though. I figured out something. Both Walmart and Target don't control their stock of trading cards. They outsource their trading card section, right?
Oh.
Which is why if you search on the Target app, you get no results. Same with the Walmart app. They're like, we don't have any of that shit in our stores. Because it's not in their official inventory. It's in their third-party inventory. And so all up to third-party vendor whether they decide to bring in for this or not. And apparently the one here in Omaha is like, nah, fucking people want fucking leftover World Cup cards and like 30,000 different baseball cards and NFL cards and some hockey cards that never fucking sell. Anyways.
And out here in Yeet Country, USA, they're like, wrestling! Yeah! Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
but on that note, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you use. We recommend twitch.tv because that's where we do our live broadcast, twitch.tv/Raw and Order WBU. Or do this live so you can watch it live and chat along with us like Necro does. Or you can watch the replay on YouTube or the replay on Twitch. That's fine. But like, share, and subscribe. Share it with all your friends so they know about it. You can support us with merch in the. We've got. You can send us bits. You can send us tips. All sorts of fun ways to. And occasionally we get sponsored, and you can go buy those products to support us. That you can also support us by following us on the social media. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU, just like it says below my name there. You can follow DA Fabe at
DA Vincent K Fabe, just like it says right there.
And you can follow
On Twitter.
JLB at
twitch.tv/JLBTLC25, where I stream games, still currently streaming some WWE 2K23. Hopefully I beat Showcase sooner rather than later. I will get to unlock John Cena invisible if I do all of the Showcase. So I really won't be able to see him, but I'll be able to play as him because he'll have clothes on, so I'll know he'll be there. So it should be fun. Otherwise, socials, you can follow me on Twitter at JLB420. And that is it. That is all. And that's where you can find me. So
still pissed at GCW for their fucking lawsuit. Because if I have to wait another 12 months to get my fight forever, I'm going to be so fucking angry. Anyways, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap
safe to
things
say
up.
you'll be angry forever? Is that
I will be angry forever. No,
Bam.
never.